got the cornfield calm, Midwest tone, but he's spitting facts like a dog with a bone. Lanky frame, fire-haired, eyes on the case, breaking down the game and the darkest place. Sports scores to murder boards, Hoosier logic cuts like swords. From Friday lights to chalked out lines, this redhead's brain rewrites the lines. Inside the Hoosier mind, where the stories twist and stats unwind. He's a legend in flannel, mic in hand, digging deep where few can stand. From touchdowns to crime scenes raw, he's got the truth in every draw. Yeah, step in if you dare to find what's brewing inside the Hoosier mind. He'll talk Pacers, Colts, or Colts on trial. Hoosier humor with a devilish smile. He's that redhead sleuth with a box of clues. Takes your headline, breaks the news. With every stat and every scream, he's painting portraits in your stream. Don't blink, he'll tie it tight. From game night wins to murder flight. Inside the Hoosier mind, where the facts hit hard and the lines are blind. He's a ginger ninja, sleuth and slick, cracking cases play by play quick. From courtrooms to the hardwood floor, he digs for more than just the score. Tune in and don't rewind, you're deep now inside the Hoosier mind.
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome into Inside the Hoosier Mind, brought to you by Military Broadcast Radio, helping give veterans a voice. Here with the shy kid, Mike Hughes. We are back. Exams are done. I got no more math tests to take. Thank sweet Lord, because I hate math. I'm awful at math. And I got Mike here, so nobody has to just hear me talk for like an hour, which is great because nobody wants to hear that for an hour. It just gets old. I go on a rant. I ramble.
I do.
lose my train of
I'm
thought.
glazing.
But Mike, buddy, how are you? Because it's cold here in the Midwest. It's been damn cold here in the Midwest.
It's cold, man. I just went on a jog. Whew. Iceman himself, aka Caleb Williams, would be on skates today, looking like Connor Bedard. It was icy, man. I almost busted my ass a few times. But I got 3 more days, and then I'm on winter break for 2 weeks, which is going to be really cool. I need a break from these kids. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. The kids are great.
Yeah. Now, Mike, that's not how you're supposed to get ice in your veins, buddy. Like being out in the cold, like that's not how you're supposed to get the
ice in my ass because I keep falling.
Oh, but anyway, though, it's cold outside, but college football is heating up, and of course, with it being the off season for all like 130 other teams that are out there, the drama is heating up to boot along with it. And I didn't talk about it last week when this first happened, but I want Mike's perspective because. Mike is a college football fan, but he's a neutral fan, which is kind of the best part because Mike just sees it purely from an objective perspective. Like, I'm a Bama hater, so I'm a vote Bama should never be in the playoffs ever unless they just truly deserve it. But nonetheless, though, we saw something that is potentially going to change the landscape of college football potentially forever with the conference championship games truly now penalizing teams, even though, to quote the committee, if you play in your conference championship game and you're slotted for the playoffs, you will not get penalized for it. And we know that to simply be not true because BYU was kind of on the outside in. They lose to Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship badly, and they're no longer in the playoffs. Now, they weren't originally, but they were on the bubble of potentially being able to wiggle their way in. And so BYU gets the boot. Alabama gets destroyed by Georgia. I think it was like 28-7 was the final score. They had -3 rushing yards in the second half. -3 rushing yards is what they were held to by the Georgia Bulldogs. But hey, they're still number 9. They're still going in the playoffs with 3 losses, the only 3-loss team that's in, even though they lost a conference championship game. And so that kind of brings a question to you, buddy, of you play for a conference championship It's one extra game that only 2 teams in a conference are playing. Nobody else in your conference plays an extra. And realistically, those teams kind of get they get screwed, because if you think about it, if I have to play an extra game and take somebody like Oregon didn't have to play for the Big Ten. And so they get to rest all the way up until their first matchup this coming weekend. So they essentially got an extra bye week. Whereas if you just played and maybe you're not one of the top 4 teams that get a bye in the playoffs, now you have to play this game and then you have to play another game to boot on top of that, right back to back. It's not really fair.
Sure.
So to me, there's a potential that they maybe get rid of the conference championship games, because nobody's really going to want to play. Because if I'm slotted to be in the playoffs and I'm kind of on the fringe anyway, and I play in my conference championship game and I lose, and my name isn't Alabama, I'm probably going to be kicked out of the playoffs, and that's BS, because that shouldn't happen. But Mike, buddy, what's your thoughts though?
I think I'm gonna tie it back to 2 old friends, Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. And I tie them together because I think when you talk about Alabama in NFL terms, it's the New England Patriots. And even though the New England Patriots were without Tom Brady and were under the helm of Mac Jones at the time, you couldn't just throw them in the playoffs just because we're so used to the Patriots being in the playoffs. Like the last time they went to the playoffs was 2021. They had a 10-7 season with Mac Jones. I think that was Mac Jones' rookie year too, by the way, or his sophomore year.
Rookie year.
Might have been, rookie year, 100% then. So it's just one of those things where it's like, you just can't have the Pats in the playoffs just to have them in the playoffs. You know what I mean? Just because history's past has told us that they're always going to make it. Like there are going to be some dog years, and that's just what it is. And that's kind of what makes it fun. If you're just given something because of what it was, it's not the same conversation with nepotism, but it kind of does feel like that in a way, because it's like you didn't earn it. You know what I mean? So that's something for me where I'm kind of like, you look at Alabama, and I think just because of them being a prestigious organization in college football, whether you love them or hate them, you respect the fact of what they've been able to accomplish. They have the greatest college football coach of all time. It's just something where it's like, Nick Saban's not here anymore. Those players aren't here anymore. And this is a team that lost in their own conference game. So, I mean, we're losing bowl games, we're losing games here on the left and right. It's just one of those things where it's very undeserving. So I think, kind of to our point backstage a little bit, it'd be like if the Minnesota Vikings today made the playoffs over the Chicago Bears. And it's like, well, no, the Chicago Bears are more than deserving to make this. They're leading the North right now, and we're not going to satisfy that just because Minnesota's been better over the last few years. So, or I guess Minnesota's kind of a bad example because they've never been that. It's kind of like,
you could say Detroit even, because Detroit's been good for the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, I would throw in Green Bay too, where it's like, if the Bears have a better record than Green Bay at the end of the year, and you just give the division championship to the Packers, that's kind of fucking crazy. So, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. So that's how I viewed it, man. I know you're more of a college football guy. You understand what it takes to get in. What are the qualifications? If there's a point differential or there's other factors that go into it, but that's me on the outside looking at it.
So there's so many, and here's the issue that a lot of people have, and the biggest one being, the last couple of spots as far as the Power 4 teams of Miami and Notre Dame. That one's big. The huge argument for weeks all the way leading up to, and the biggest argument being when Miami and Notre Dame faced head to head in week 2, Miami got the win. It was 27-24 was the final score, or week 1. And so first game of the season, Notre Dame loses, then they lose to Texas A&M, but then they rip off 10 wins in a row. They're 10-2. Miami's 10-2, but Miami has the tiebreaker as far as beating them head to head. With somebody like Alabama, they have then 3 losses. And here's where people get weird with college football and the games, because they love to count games that matter. Alabama's thing, they beat like 6 top 15 or like 4 or 5 top 15 ranked teams in a row. It was like, they faced like team number 4, they faced team number 6, 11, 15, whatever the rankings were for all those teams at the time. Alabama beat all of them. So they went through a gauntlet of the schedule and they won. So they really want to like use that and just, that's just great. That's just great. But then they want to ignore what they would consider really bad losses. Like you started the year taking a fat L to Florida State, and Florida State had a garbage season this year. Like Florida State was bad. Like they were better than last year, but they were still bad this year. You still took a fat L to them to start your season. So that blemish just can't be erased. But again, then they want to twist it and spin it. Oh, well, Notre Dame only beat, cupcake teams. Okay. Sure. But they lost to 2 teams that are now in the playoffs. So technically 2 of the top 12 teams in the country they lost to, which again, if you want to count quality losses, those are quote unquote good losses. So that's one of my issues that I've always felt is dumb with them when it comes to that argument. Cause I'm like, is that really the argument that you want to use of, yeah, well, you got to look at the wins. Okay. Well, look at Utah, because I had a girl actually argue with me for not Utah, for BYU, the other Utah school. The only real top quality win that BYU had was against Utah, who had a pretty good season this year. But their only 2 losses were to Texas Tech. And because of that, they got kicked out of the playoffs because they didn't play quote unquote good teams. You can only play who's on your schedule. And unless, again, they're trying to set up like, oh, well, we want to face Alabama's, we want to face, Georgia's or Ohio State's or Oregon at the beginning of the season, which most teams aren't going to do anymore. That's not going to happen. You can only control what you can control. And BYU shouldn't necessarily be punished because, again, they only have 2 losses. They're a 10-win team, and they played for their conference. Actually, they're an 11-win team, and they've played for their conference championship, and they lost. So they're 11-2, but 9-3 Alabama gets to get in because they're, Alabama. So that's just my personal issue. But again, I am a Bama hater, so it's hard to take some objectivity from that.
A logical thinking man, no problem.
I mean, I think so. But again, I'm LSU, so I have a little bit of a bias when it comes to the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, no, and also not to stir some shit up, but I've been rocking with old Rocky Top for quite some time, but I was like, man, like Tony really be selling me on LSU. I'm like, oh, man, I would love to just change my allegiance. That'd be interesting. Switch things up a little bit, and then y'all got the head coach y'all got, and I was like, oh, I'm not fucking with that. I like the vibes in Tennessee. The vibes are immaculate, even if they don't win. I think they're fun. They're good people. Not that LSU doesn't have good people, but I think they got a fox in the hen with that head coaching hire.
Old Laney Lane.
Yeah, nah. And hey, could win some games, but nah. I'm good.
The potential's there, and it's kind of one of those. Because college football is so coach starved as far as good coaches go, he's the prettiest girl left that's available to go to prom. So
she might cheat on you and steal your credit card, but
hey, if she a 9 and she a baddie, I mean, you at least gonna have one good night. Potentially, you gonna have at least one good night. It's not a long term day. We here for a good time, not a long time. We here for a good time. But anyway, buddy, let's move on to the NFL, though, because
let's do it.
Because honestly, I'm gonna be fully transparent with you. The NFL to me has not been fun this year. I don't know why it's just not been fun. I'm like, man,
I've had a blast.
Have you? Well, I will say.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I will say here's what's made it interesting though. Sure. The AFC was like so top heavy coming in, and now like everybody's gone. Like everybody's basically gone. Like it is. Anybody, and honestly, even the NFC right now, I feel like the NFC is wide open. Like everybody, oh well, Phillies look like dog water, except for the Raiders.
In a span of 7 days, the Bears went from the number 1 seed to the number 7 seed, and now the number 2 seed in the NFC. That's how fucking packed the NFC is right now. It has been so much fun to watch, and like you said, the AFC, you lose Mahomes. Burrow's season's been gone even before he came back, and it's just one of those things where it's like there's so many new sheriffs in town. There's a couple OG gunslingers still out there. It's this season has been a blast, and no matter how it ends, man, I do think we're gonna crown a new Super Bowl champion, or at least have a fun, new, interesting Super Bowl this year. I think it's gonna be really cool.
That isn't Kansas City, San Francisco, or Philly.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Philly still has a shot, no?
I mean, they do. I don't want them to, but they do.
No, yeah, sure. But like, I think the only thing, and we can talk about Philly in another episode because, man, fuck Philly. But
Exactly. Fuck Philly.
I do. There is a part of me deep down that thinks, is Saquon just chilling out in the regular season to go off in the playoffs? Because last year we saw a very tired and exhausted Saquon Barkley by the end of February, and I think kind of to preserve that health and preserve that longevity, I think you kind of had to. And hey, he's had a slow, not as productive season to be the Madden cover. It could also be the Madden cover curse, which I finally did it. I bought Madden. I did it today. My mom got it for me for Christmas. She was like, "You want it?" I was like, yeah, let's do it. It was my first time in like 10 years not having Madden. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And then, of course, I go on online mode and the kid immediately calls me unspeakable things. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Missed this.
Yep. I say the really bad part, I know for Xbox, I think PlayStation 2, you can even report like the voice chats now.
Like, oh, yeah. It's dangerous. Call of Duty is not safe. You will get banned.
Oh, yeah. And it's
back in our day,
the most toxic play.
Oh,
you want to become hardened to people calling you terrible things like, oh, I get yelled at all the time.
Talk about welcome to America moments, brother. I mean, golly,
go sit in the COD lobby for like just a minute. You ain't even got to sit there full at like 5.
You back in the lobby in 2 minutes. It's over with, bro. Or then sometimes like this was like back in the day, man, before I even had a mic and like it would speak through the TV or it would speak through the controller, and your mom just hears you down and say, "You mother effer this, mother effer that." You're like, oh my god, you should have to turn the volume down. I'm like, God.
But dude, I played it for the first time online with one of the girls I used to work with. That's first word out of his mouth. Hard F slur, just hard F slur right off the bat. I'm like, yeah, we've been in here 30 seconds.
Oh, like, I always but then I got toxic. Like I would always make it a point when I would come. Like I remember one specifically. I'm probably like 11 years old, bro. I'm playing Halo 2 and Call of Duty Black Ops 2, and I hop on Call of Duty, and I finally had a mic. And the second I get in, bro, I hear somebody's smoke detector go off. And me being 12 years old, bro, I'm like, you broke bitch, you can't fix it. Take that shit off, bro. And I'm like popping off, bro. And like, I would just like rage bait people, bro. It was honestly some of the greatest days of my life. And then one day, a man repeated my address to me.
Oh, no.
And I got off the game, sat down at dinner, looked at my family as if this might be the last time I ever see everybody in this room ever again. And I ate my chicken and potatoes, but luckily we're still here. He has not come yet, but I'm waiting for the one day I'm at the grocery store for some dude to just say my gamer tag, and then when I turn around, the whole world just goes dark. I'm gonna be like, oh, like in The Sopranos when he looks up, I'll be oh fuck.
But anyway, though, so.
Yeah, my bad.
No, you're good. Say I'm always good for the memory lane tangents. I'm all for it.
Sure.
So speaking of the AFC, it was top heavy and now it's not. Mahomes is out with ACL and the Chiefs were eliminated from the playoffs anyway. They're done. Lamar and the Ravens are limping through. They still have a chance because old Uncle Aaron Rodgers also limping. Just Steelers keep staying in first place.
Hey, he's slinging that thing, though. If you're watching, he's slinging it.
He is. And then Joe Burrow and the Bengals officially eliminated last week because they got shut out by said Ravens.
And by the way, Joe Burrow will still be the starting quarterback for the remainder of the season because Zach Taylor says, we want to win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
I don't know what to do with that, Tony.
Like,
I don't.
Like you're hurting your draft stock because you're going to get a higher draft pick if you do that.
Right.
And you obviously need those draft picks because you can't afford to pay everybody.
Oh, wait, but Tony,
Trey Hendrickson.
Don't forget, they don't even want to pay their draft picks.
Don't even want to have them sign the contract here.
Yeah, that's why we want to win more games because we don't want to pay like the number 1 overall pick. You know what I mean? Makes sense. I get what they're doing.
Logic.
Thank you. Logic.
But to you, buddy, is this Josh Allen's best chance? Because I mean, but here's the thing I'll question it, and Frankie will probably love this. Their biggest hurdle they got to get over right now is the Patriots, and honestly, just not hurting themselves, because obviously they lost to Tua and the Dolphins. How you managed to do that, I don't understand. But is this truly Josh Allen's best chance? Because I think if he doesn't do it this year, he may never get it again unless the Chiefs just continue to have like freak accidents, all honesty.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when you really look at it. Right now, I'm pulling up the 2025 NFL playoff picture because that'll kind of help like have that conversation a little bit more. You're looking at the Broncos, the Patriots, the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence had a day, 6 touchdowns on Sunday, which was incredible. I mean, it needed that because I feel like Trevor really hasn't had that game in the NFL yet. The Steelers, the Chargers, the Bills are the 6th seed. And then you have the Texans, who have won 6 games straight. Shout out CJ Stroud, really coming back, figuring it out once that offensive line got healthier.
And their defense, man, they might be one of the most dangerous teams right now, all honesty.
Stingley, Will Anderson and them boys, Daniil Hunter. I mean, they've been nasty. And then in the bubble is Phillip Rivers at 45 years old and Lamar Jackson. For me, man, here's how I view it. This is Josh Allen's best bet to win the championship this season, because for me, Josh Allen is the only experienced gunslinger in this playoff picture right now. You know, you got new sheriffs in town, Drake May. Drake May. I love Drake May. And he may. You know, it might happen. It might not. But there's a new sheriff in town in Drake May, and maybe that happens. But if I'm willing to bet Drake May versus Josh Allen in the playoffs, I'm taking Josh Allen because he's had that experience for years going up against the likes of Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and of course, Patrick Mahomes, which has been their biggest nightmare. I know a lot of people are going to say it's not just about the quarterback debate. It's about the whole team. You know what I mean? It's not just Mahomes versus Allen. It's not just Burrow versus Allen. You have to take into consideration the defenses. You have to take into consideration the coaching staff and the weapons. But when we talk about X factors, when we talk about game managers, if you're not facing Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow, I think you have a cakewalk. Yeah, you have the defenses. Yeah, you have to go against the Broncos defense. You have to go against the Patriots defense, maybe even the Baltimore Ravens if they figure it out. But at the end of the day, to me, that's not a tall order for Josh Allen from what we've seen from him. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a tall order for Keon Coleman and the other wide receivers in that room that we may or may not be able to name. But I think, is Amari Cooper still there? No, he's not. He retired.
No, he retired,
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I don't even know. I haven't watched many Bulls games this year. That's no disrespect. They've had a phenomenal season. It's the best year for Josh Allen to win a championship because the other gunslingers are gone, at least the experienced ones. Like I said, you can have a new sheriff in town like Drake May. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to put all my chips in on Josh Allen to make it to the Super Bowl this year. And whether that's facing off against Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears or not, I'm not sure. But even then, it's a lot of experience versus zero experience. If you're facing off against the Lions, it's a lot of Super Bowl experience. Not Super Bowl experience. It's a lot of playoff experience versus a guy who's never been to the Super Bowl. And that's just one of those things where it's like, I mean, that would just be a fun game because you got a guy who's never been to the Super Bowl and then you've got a guy who's lost 4 of them. You know what I mean? So it's like, really, I have no idea how this will go. But I really do think this could be Josh Allen's year. What do you think?
I think it has to be this year because, like I said, how often, and I know we always joke about it, and a lot of people who dislike the Chiefs, which I really don't dislike the Chiefs. I dislike most true dynasties because it gets old. It's cool, it's fun for a little bit, but it's like I like the parody. Like I like a little mix up thrown in there. Like when it was Rams versus Bengals, I was like, oh, this is great. Like like as Matt Stafford and Joe Burrow is like a great quarterback is finally going to get a Super Bowl ring, whether it's the young gun that's going to be the face of the league for a while, or it's the old dude that just got beat up in Detroit constantly. Yeah. He's finally going to get a ring like he deserves. So,
or even like Aaron Donald going out with a ring. Like that was beautiful. Like that was so poetic to me. It was so cool. No, I love that. What was that? That's really the only one really in recent memory that I like really said, whoever wins this, I'm happy.
Yes. Yeah. Because I was good with either one winning it. And so, and I know we joke that the Chiefs have, black magic, and I mean, you have Overlord Taylor Swift also probably putting, some devil magic in there and whatnot.
Of course.
All the Swifties are going to come for me for that. It's fine. Don't care. Toxicity. But this kind of has to be. Now, I will ask you one thing, just because I thought it was funny, and it does kind of lead to the question of critics, more of Bill's haters, but still critics, of if Josh Allen goes and he wins, is there always going to be that little asterisk or that little side note that says, yeah, but you didn't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs to get there. Like, you basically beat like maybe a limping Ravens team. You beat an old Aaron Rodgers Steelers team that's just, hobbling in there, hemorrhaging on the defense. The AFC West, maybe you have to face the Broncos because the Broncos would be tough. Maybe Justin Herbert and whoever comes out of the AFC South, either, the Jags or the Texans, because Indy has just decided to implode for whatever reason. But bring Grandpa out of retirement.
Not Cam Newton, who somewhat is similar to an Anthony Richardson. Call Phillip Rivers, who is in the Hall of Fame this season.
Although I will say, because I saw Cam was kind of butthurt about that, and I get
he was butthurt.
If you look at their last season that they played, ironically, was the same year. Like, they both played like the last time. Cam's stats were not good. Like, you could tell Cam was just old and struggling. Now, don't get me wrong. I ain't gonna sit here and say the Colts need to bring Phil out of retirement. By no means. You got so many other options you could go for. Like, don't bring Phil out of retirement. But I saw the Cam thing. I'm like, like, out of the two, Phil was better those years ago. But you're also bringing a guy that hadn't played in like 5 years, so I can't really defend that too hard either.
Yeah, I mean, call DeShone Kizer or something, brother. You don't call Phillip Rivers. That's crazy. But I loved your question. And I loved your question because I will never sit here and say that Josh Allen's Super Bowl championship is invalid because he didn't have to face Patrick Mahomes. But people will. You know what I mean? Like, Akeem Olajuwon they said Akeem Olajuwon wouldn't have won rings if Jordan didn't retire. You know what I mean? The Bulls would have won 8 straight championships. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, it's not on him. You can only play who's in the league. You can only play who's on your schedule. You can make that same argument that so many people wouldn't have won championships if Tom Brady, retired at 35.
That's what I was getting ready to say, is how many people have said that about, you didn't face Tom Brady in the Patriot. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's not a me problem. I still won.
Patrick Mahomes faced him, lost, and then went on to win 3-4 Super Bowls. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't define you. It's interesting, though, because I do think people are going to compare it to Jordan and Olajuwon, where it's like, if Mahomes was in this game, they would argue that they wouldn't be able to beat him. And history's past has told you that they wouldn't. But I will say this. With what we've seen already, with the inconsistencies from the run game, with the defense not looking what it used to be, Chris Jones not being what he used to be, Travis Kelce, I mean, look, I'm never going to talk down on Travis Kelce. Just know if I'm not talking about Travis Kelce, there's something wrong, because he is one of my all-time favorites. But it's just one of those things to me where I think Buffalo would have got him this year regardless. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I do believe that. And it's also the pregnant wife effect, from what I've heard. Shout out Josh Allen. He's expecting. But everybody says when your wife is expecting, it's your last year to win a championship, because then it's all going to go downhill. Ask Phillip Rivers. It's gone downhill 12.
I already say that man never pulled out once, but he sniffed a couple AFC championships. Like, he was real close. I mean, he played with one, like, his ACL was just obliterated. That man's still going out there slinging it. So, like, he can.
But yeah, no, I definitely hear you. I do think this is the year of Josh Allen, though.
Yeah. But no, I agree. Like, the whole the asterisk thing. No, like you said, you can only play who you can play. At the end of the day, it's a gauntlet. There's 32 professional teams. They're professionals. They're the best professional football players in the world doing this game, doing the sport. And if you can beat however many of them you need to beat to get to the Super Bowl and win it, you did your job. So,
I've also seen teams beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs before. We're looking at the Bengals, we're looking at the Eagles, we're looking at the Patriots. So we're not going to sit up here and act like no disrespect. Like, Patrick Mahomes is him. And I will not, just because he has a torn ACL, I'm not going to sit up here and act like he's not one of the GOATs in this game and will go down as one of the GOATs in this game. But I'm not going to sit up here and act like it's the Michael Jordan effect. You know what I mean? And to some degree it is, but when we talk about the team, it's not. It's not the team has ran its course. Patrick was still great. Patrick has been incredible this year, but the team itself, I didn't think was ready for the Super Bowl. I think they have a lot of missing factors. You obviously Xavier Worthy really hasn't been, I think, what a lot of people expected him to be at this point, which is that demon route runner and that demon speed. Rashid Rice, he's solid, but I mean, God,
talking about demon speed.
Patrick just keeps throwing him hospital balls, man. I mean, I've seen him get knocked out on his ass twice. But also, before we get into one of our final topics, I do want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to Joseph Burrow for giving me 5 points in the first round of the playoffs. I lost by 1 point. Joseph, if you could have just given me 10 points, even 6, 7.
6, 7. Yeah, 7 would have probably got you the win.
Oh my God. Tony, I was going up against Josh Allen, JSN, and A-Chain, and all these other guys. And Gibbs wants to give me 9 points. Burrow wants to give me 5. I have Goddard on my bench after 5 weeks of 4 points from Goddard. He's like, fuck it. Here's a 25 ball. Here's a quarter. I'm like, oh my God.
Every time.
And God bless everyone that had Kyle Pitts on his bench this week. Shout out Kyle. 50 points.
Did he really?
He did. He had 50 points.
Wow. Because I feel like every time that man just has not lived up to the hype that he gets. And
I missed the playoffs in my other league with my buddies from high school by 1 game. So I had Kyle Pitts on my bench because, obviously, I'm not playing for the consolation prize.
Right.
If you're not first, you're last, brother.
Right.
But I was like, oh, where was this all fucking season? Did you have 50 points all season?
Nope. So, like you said, though, we do got one more topic, and it's kind of along the same lines because, like you said, you got Josh Allen and the Bills, maybe going to be the AFC representatives in the Super Bowl. On the other side, you got the NFC. NFC is stacked, but I also feel like the NFC is kind of the Wild West because you got the Rams, who are a top team, Matt Stafford looking good, but the Panthers apparently can knock the teeth out of any of them.
Yeah. And
the Saints can beat them for whatever reason. Nobody knows why, but they can. So, but the Bears they still have an obstacle to go through with Green Bay, but they have one less to deal with because Micah Parsons is now out with an ACL injury. And I'll be honest, all season, and I know you and I might be a little bit biased because, Bears, and nobody likes the Packers. If you do, you're psychotic. But I feel like there's cracks in the Packers. I feel like at first when they, the first couple of games that they played and they ended up losing to Cleveland, everybody's just gushing over the Packers. Oh, look at Green Bay. Oh my God, they're so great. They lose to Cleveland. They tie to Dallas. They lose to Carolina. Here's a lot of questions to me about
a lot of bad losses.
A lot of bad losses. They lose to Denver, but Denver's a solid team. And now they lose one of the key main guys on their defense, which to me, I feel like Green Bay is one of those teams when it's not going the way it should, they do not adapt well. They do not adjust well, and they crumble quick. And I feel like with Micah being out, which I think you and I talked about this when we talked about the Micah Parsons trade, because I said, even as a former Cowboys fan, I wasn't super upset about it because Micah does have a history of he starts out really hot to begin the season, and then he cools down as the season goes on. Now, this time he's hurt, so that's not really fair to him. But it's one less thing Green Bay has to their advantage, and it's an advantage for Chicago because that's one less, really good pass rusher that they have to deal with. So do you think now is the time for them to beat Green Bay, and then they can all but secure the NFC North as far as the division goes? And at minimum, I think they're going to be the 1 or the 2 seed going into the playoffs because I think it's going to be between Chicago and LA for the 1 and 2 seeds.
Yeah, and then also we have to go against San Fran and then Detroit again as well. So it's definitely not over. But it's the first time I think Chicagoans are rooting for Aaron Rodgers, because if the Bears beat Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers beats the Lions this weekend, the Chicago Bears clinch the NFC North, which is like super dope to me. So it's like the first time I'm ever rooting for the bad man, because it's gonna be fun, man. So we're rooting for A-Rod for the first time in my 25 years of life. Then San Fran and obviously Detroit. I want that Detroit game. I want that Detroit game really bad. Honestly, if I could be completely honest with you, Tone, I really hope the NFC North comes down to that Detroit Lions game. I want it to be week 18, Ben Johnson versus Dan Campbell, round 2. Yeah, they put 50 on our head last time. It was a very early on in the season.
But that was in Detroit too, though.
Yeah, it's in Chicago.
This time it's in Chicago. Jared Goff does not do well in the cold at all. He does not do well in the cold.
Remember last time Jared Goff came to Chicago in the middle of December when the Bears were hot? I mean, just never forget. Still sees Khalil Mack in that backfield. But no, man, to answer your question, I'm going to be completely honest. I'm sorry to all the Packers fans right now. I feel horrible about the Micah Parsons thing, because it is one of those things where it's like, you don't want that. You know what I mean? I would love to face Green Bay at full strength. I would love for the Bears to be at full strength. I mean, Christian Watson is dog shit. And the only reason he was dog walking the Bears secondary was because we lost Kyler Gordon, who's one of the best nickel corners in the entire league. That's, for me, something where you look at it and you're like, the Bears didn't have Rome Odunze, number 1 wide receiver. They didn't have Tremaine Edmonds, one of their top linebackers. They didn't have Kyler Gordon. In the beginning of the season, we didn't have Jalen Johnson, Tyreek Stevenson, or Kyler Gordon. We had the most wins with the most injuries in the entire NFL. It's crazy to say that, but we really did. We were able to adapt, and guys like Wright and guys like Blackwell have been able to step up and show out when we needed them to. Guys like Luther Burden III, Kyle Monungai, and others have stepped up. Colston Loveland. Everybody has been doing their part. So where a lot of Packer fans are going to tell you, well, the only reason you might win this game is because Micah Parsons isn't playing, I don't want to hear it. We were missing Kyler. We were missing Rome. We were missing Tremaine. And we still went out there and we had a fucking day. And we had a ball game. Really, it came down to the wire. And at the end of the day, we lost that game. But I hate the narrative of, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes isn't playing the rest of the season, so Josh Allen's Super Bowl appearance doesn't really count. That's bullshit. You play who's on your schedule, and you play who's healthy and on the field. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And I think a lot of people would agree with that, and other people won't agree with that. Other people will say, oh, well, you know, if Patrick Mahomes isn't healthy, then the whole season's a wash. Man, get the fuck out of here. Like, if Micah Parsons isn't healthy, then this win for the Bears means nothing. Actually, this win means that we're likely going to win the division. So whether you love it or hate it, it's what it is.
And here's the other thing too that I would use against Packers fans, because we didn't have Micah, it doesn't count. Okay, if Caleb goes down and they beat Chicago, does it count?
Right.
Well, yeah, it counts because we beat the Bears. Okay.
Well, it counts because Tyson Bagent's an elite quarterback, brother. And I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
Like, you're reaching. You are reaching.
Now I'll tell you this. God forbid, knock on wood, Caleb Williams goes down and Tyson Bagent beats the Green Bay Packers. I am going to be insufferable. I'm going to be like, it's Josh McCown 2013 all over again. Like, it's going to be beautiful. But Tony, can I bring something up?
Yeah, real quick. You're not going to be insanely toxic, are you? If Tyson Bagent was to beat the Packers, just
I'll buy
ridiculously toxic.
I will buy a Tyson Bagent jersey if the Packers and Tyson Bagent's like going in as QB1. And it wouldn't happen. I love Caleb. Caleb's been incredible. Fewest interceptions in NFL history throughout his first 1,000-something attempts. It's incredible. Caleb has been incredible. And to have a 21-6 touchdown interception ratio, over 3,000 passing yards. Will he eclipse that 4,000 yard mark? Maybe not this season without Rome. He needs to average like 300 yards a game for that to happen. But it has been one hell of a year.
He needs 850 more, and he's got 3 games left.
Yeah, it's possible. It's
possible.
300 isn't like
it's not crazy.
That's realm of possibility. It's kind of like it's been
normal.
A staple, I feel like, for most elite quarterbacks. But with Rome Odunze having that foot stress fracture, I just don't see it. But I do want to bring up something.
Okay.
Do you listen to a lot of football pods? Do you listen to like Club Shay Shay and the Johnny Manziel pod?
Not Johnny Manziel. I do listen to a lot of Club Shay Shay. I listen to more college, so I like Joel Klatt. I think Joel Klatt breaks down pretty well. He's got some weird takes, but I feel like everybody got weird takes, honestly.
Well, check this out. Can I tell you about what happened the other day?
Sure.
So I'm listening to Glory Days. Johnny Manziel has Pac-Man Jones. Adam Jones is on the show. Great returner. Pac-Man Jones says on the air on the Johnny Manziel show that he is a better kick returner than Devin Hester. If I told a bunch of kids that Pac-Man Jones is a better kick returner than Devin Hester, do you know what they would say to me, Tony?
Oh, if you said that in Chicago, you might not be walking in Chicago anymore, buddy. You might be walking with Jesus.
I'll tell you what they'd say. They'd say, who the fuck is Pac-Man Jones? I mean, did we forget how great Devin Hester was? That's crazy. That is a crazy fucking statement. And that's one of those ones where, like, obviously it's clickbait. Obviously you want your moments of fame because I think the majority of fans in the NFL forgot who you were. Devin Hester is a Hall of Famer, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Point blank, period. Shout out Pac-Man Jones and everything you accomplished. But I mean, it is black and white. It is not the same. It is a tale of two cities, and you are the tail end, brother.
And like you said, no disrespect to Pac-Man, you weren't breaking Dion's records for punt returns and kick returns. You know who did? Devin Hester
changed the fucking game. Did we forget how great Devin Hester was? Oh my God.
Like, you got to think, because this would be one of those I would love to ask. Like, oh yeah, I'm one of the best kick returners in the game. When Tony Dungy had to play you with Peyton Manning and all his teams, did they ever sit there and say, don't kick it to don't kick it to Adam Jones? Like,
don't kick it to Adam Jones. The fuck out of here.
And then, because I don't know if you saw that, Tony Dungy actually had a sit down with that, and it was like, so how'd that Super Bowl go? He's like, man, the whole entire week I was like, don't kick it to him, just kick it out of bounds.
And then he was like, at kickoff, he's like, yeah, just kick it to him.
Just do it to him. It'll be fine. Over the kickoff. Like, you can't.
It worked out for him. I can't talk too much shit.
Yeah. But it's like, you're not that guy, pal. You're not
that guy. I'm sorry, bro. Devin Hester is the fucking GOAT. Don't ever in the same breath. Pac-Man Jones. Who the fuck is Pac-Man Jones? We're talking about Devin Anytime Hester, the greatest of all time. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, Tony, oh my God. And you know what? They did exactly what they needed to do because they got me talking about it. And that's all they wanted. But
they did.
Yeah, that's I had to say that.
Hey, no, I like it, buddy. I like it. Well, nonetheless, so buddy, I appreciate you coming on. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Check out Inside the Hoosier Mind if you want to hear more of this. You can check out The Shy Kid if you want to hear more of Mike and talking about the Bears and everything Chicago related. And if you like all the great military vets that are on here, if you want to hear just cool military stories, life advice, whatever the case may be, check out mbradio.us. They will get you all hooked up. We have tons of great veteran hosts and whatnot. They talk sports. They talk anything. If you want like the good tea, like the good drama on people, Into the Weeds, perfect tea. Always hot, always good, always solid. Just throwing it out there. But appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back next week before Christmas, before the holidays, no matter what you celebrate and whatnot. Mike and I will hopefully be back, and we will see y'all then.
Go Bears.
Da Bears.
Life is like a duck. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Here at Military Broadcast Radio, we're teaming up with our friends at Die Tired, the veteran-friendly music band spreading strength, resilience, and mental health awareness one shirt at a time.
And check this out. Their brand new shirts feature broadcast beaker right on the breast pocket. A reminder that you can weather the storm and you're never alone.
Shirts are only $25 and proceeds support giving veterans a voice. MBR's mission to teach veterans how to podcast and videocast. Because when our vets are talking, they're not overthinking. They're not second-guessing. Together, we stop the 22 stigma. Grab your shirt today at mbradio.us and hit the shop. Or go directly to toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband. That's toramerch.printavo.com/merch/dietiredband.
Suit up. Stand strong.
Remember, we're unduckable together.
You're built tougher than the storm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.